If there was a tier list for jobs you could possibly have, I would put retail below getting voluntarily hit by a bus. For my first job, I worked at a department store at our local mall that we'll call Stacy's, just in case. But rather than it just being like a normal retail job, I, for whatever reason, was hired to be part of the men's suits and shoes department. Now this sucked for a lot of reasons, the worst of which being that unlike all the other employees, I had to wear a suit every day. I do not like wearing suits. They're uncomfortable, they're tight. I do not like them in a tote. I do not like them with a coat. And if you have ever worked retail, then you'll know that something that's really important is having comfortable shoes, because you will be standing all day. You know what's not comfortable? Dress shoes. My feet and legs would be in agony. During my first day, my manager gave me some training. Let me show you my training. There it is. Do you know on a suit where a gorge is? No? Me neither. But I was expected to be like this expert on fashion. Customers would come in and ask me for like my advice on how to style them. Man, all I knew is to match the shoes with the belt. My normal daily fashion sense is like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. I have none. But people would expect me to know, so I'd have to stumble through every interaction like, wow, that outfit is just... As a fashion expert, and I don't say this about everybody, but as a fashion expert, your outfit is incredible. Luckily, I did have this really awesome coworker named Terry, who essentially actually trained me to do the job somewhat competently. There also was a second Terry there, but she kind of freaked me out, so we don't talk about her. But everyone else, except for the good Terry, was really strange. When I worked opening shifts, the entire store would have to have this morning meeting where we'd all gather in a circle and discuss the goals of the day. The head store manager was this British lady, which was really weird, and nobody commented on it either. She was just British. Anyway, she would start talking about the company priorities, which was the same corporate BS every day about, here at Stacy's, our only goal is to give our customers the best experience. Yeah, except that was a huge lie, because the real goal at Stacy's is to sell credit cards. Like most department stores, they have these company credit cards that we would constantly have to get people to sign up for, and these cards were bad, dude. Like, if you even made eye contact with one of these cards, your credit score would tank. And if you opened one, oh, you would just get a letter from your bank that said, bruh. But it was legitimately all Stacy's cared about. It is not an exaggeration to say that at least 70% of the conversations I had with managers there was about how many credit cards we sold. They tracked how many we sold, we were scolded if we didn't sell enough, and the reward for those who did was like $200 at the end of the month, which maybe as an 18-year-old seemed like some amazing deal to me, but let me tell ya, what a scam. And it just always left a bad taste in my mouth because most of the customers didn't really understand they were opening a credit card. They would think it's like some store points card and then bam, they have a new credit card that they have to pay off. So literally everyone except for corporate was just getting scammed. But despite all that, you know what really sucked the most? Well, you've probably guessed since this is about retail, but yeah, it's the customers. The customers, oh my god. One time this guy came in and was complaining about the shoes he bought. Apparently they smelled really bad, but he insisted that it couldn't be him because his feet were fine, and he demanded, fist pounding on the counter, demanded I smell his feet as proof. Like, what? No, I'm not gonna smell your feet, you stupid Neanderthal. This other time, a guy came in literally 1 minute before closing and said that he needed to have a suit for a wedding. No, I didn't actually do that. But I got my tape measure, I started measuring this guy, trying to do it as quick as I could, when suddenly the British manager, who forgot to check that all the employees were done yet, turned off all the lights in the store. So there I was, stuck in a room measuring a random guy in the dark. Very awkward, and somehow I got in trouble for that, even though she didn't check, but whatever, that's just how it went at Stacy's. There was this one lady who was asking me about an electric razor for her husband, and so I was showing her what we had, and then out of the blue she asks, now does this work if he needs to shave down there? And I was just so taken aback, I didn't know what to say, so I was just like, I guess it just depends on how much is down there. And then, completely straight-faced, she asked me, I'm just not understanding how it would work. How do you shave down there? Why on God's green earth would you ask me how I shave my and then she left without even buying anything. But I think the craziest experience had to be when our local news weatherman came in, and he had very obviously just, how do I say this? Ingested an illegal substance similar in color and texture to powdered sugar. But for whatever reason, I'm just like a magnet for crazy people. So this guy makes a beeline to me and just starts talking about himself as if he was like God's gift to Earth. Talking about the cool car he owned and how much money he made. As if I was supposed to be impressed, when in reality I was just sitting there like, yeah, whatever you say, weather boy. But yeah, this guy was totally zooted, seeing starships. He made me get him like 10 outfit combinations. Then he took them all to the fitting room, and then he started making these crazy sounds. It was like a pit bull that just got a new chew toy. And then he also left without buying anything. But even though they sucked for the most part, at least when there were customers, it was busy and the day would go by quicker. Because the actual worst thing about working retail is when it's slow and there is nothing to do. Time crawls. A 9-hour shift feels like a 29-hour shift. I had so little to do, I would go to the back room and sort empty coat hangers by size. Moral of the story, if you've never worked in retail, just be nice to the employees, please. Anyway, that's it. Goodbye.